Hey everybody, it's Eric, owner of Farpoint Farms here in the mountains of North Carolina. It's Tuesday, the 19th of May, and I'm here for a live show, and I'm also here to celebrate a little bit. 25,000 subscribers here on the channel, moving right along. Heck, I think it was Christmas time that we had hit just 20,000 subscribers. So the channel has really found its way, I guess, and that's surprising to me because I literally do nothing, but I try really hard at the nothing that I do. So how's everybody doing today? Hey Roaster, hey Ro, how you doing? Hey CJ, CQ. How's everybody been? We are getting a ton of rain here. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if the power just blinked off here at some point. We had a little bit of a fluctuation here earlier today, and I don't have my solar system set up yet, although we are working on that as we speak. So yeah, we got that going. Scooter 55, congratulations. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Jamaica Dog, yahoo! Thanks, Jamaica Dog. How you doing, brother? So, how's 10 meter doing? Well, it's doing okay here. We've had like over the weekend, apparently it was really good 11 and 12 meter, or 10 and 12 openings, but I had it on sometime today and it was kind of dead. Vet08, first time on the chat. Good, man. Glad to see you in here. Happy. Welcome to the channel. This is very low key, very laid back. And yeah, we just kind of talk, man. People are kind of cooped up in their homes, or maybe they're just wanting to hang out. Anyway, I'm here. Jordan B, congrats. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, my man. Michael, hello from Kentucky. Good to see you there, buddy. Ugly Coyote Cherry says Wes Raz. I was having one of the, it's a grape, but it wasn't a coyote. What was it I was smoking today? Gosh, I can't even remember the name brand. I've done them though. Cheap. three for a buck, I think it was. Anyway, good stuff. Some person, you are now full screen comment compatible. There you go. I moved as your requests. I moved to the other side of the screen and I made my ugly face even larger than before so you guys can be horrified. I hope you're not eating. There you go. CJ, have you tried 2 meters again? I got a new, as in really old 2 meter radio that I'm going to be making a video on, and I'm going to be setting it up permanently. I kind of wish I'd never gotten rid of the Radio Shack HTX 252 I had, but I did for, whatever. So I've got that I'm going to be putting up, and I'm going to, add it to the list of things I scan through on a regular basis. So, yeah, I got that going on. General Lee Gaiman saying, Country Boy, Coast of NC, waving a hand. Good to see you, my friend. Just Car Things, what's up? Just Car Things. There's a Just Car behind me right there. That's my 12 of 79. That's my 79 Rabbit truck. Of course, it's got a bed liner painted into it now, but other than that, it's looking pretty close to that. Chris Robbins, number 7. Hello, my friend. Ohio in the house. Outlaw 606. Good to see you, man. Al Martin III. Good evening from Virginia. Hey, Al, are they ever going to open? Well, Al, maybe you can let me know when they open up the battleship. What is it that's up there? Wisconsin? That's in Norfolk, isn't it? Parked there. I would love to see that thing now that they've opened up the lower decks. So, assuming the world ever goes back to normal, maybe we could all plan a meet up there and take the tour together or something. I don't know. CJ, 25,000 subs. You got it, brother. I'm shocked, like really blown away by that. This started in 14 or 15, I think, when I started the channel. For real. I guess I started a year earlier, but I put up like maybe 4 or 5 videos and then promptly forgot about the channel. And then when I went back and looked at it, some of those videos were popular. In fact, my most popular video on YouTube today was one of the first 5 videos I put up, shot on a VHS camcorder. So video quality apparently doesn't matter if it's good content. That's cool, man. Rose saying hello from Iowa. Hello to you, my friend. Okay, now you can start. I'm here, says 9mm AR, man. Right on, brother. Read God's Word. All weekend got NC and Virginia skip. Yeah, so like, I'm sorry, I got an itch here. There was plenty over the weekend, but today it didn't seem to be so much. Of course, over the weekend I was busy with other stuff because we had excellent weather. Today was a rainy day, so I was kind of stuck. 9mm AR, man, 38 and watching only 10 likes. Yeah, if you get a second, folks, if you hit the like button, that means a lot to me. Helps with channel. Charlie Porch, hello from Virginia, good to see you. Hey from Quebec. Boy, I've got a bunch of folks in here chiming in, man. Daniel from Quebec. Tristan's Outdoors you seem like an outdoors man. How, oh man, do you have a morel season? Hope all is well and healthy. I don't know what that is, so I'm not sure. Al Martin will do. Jack Taylor's, oh boy, I'm just reading all these up. Anyway, Glenn Francis, good to see you in there, man. Anyway. So what's everybody been up to? I've been working. The reason the rabbit truck is in the background today's picture, it poured. We have a ton of rain coming in here in North Carolina, so no farming today. So over the weekend did a bunch of farming. Today was rabbit work day, and got a problem. Got a wiring problem. Thought I had that thing completely redone, but had a problem. Turns out this switch right here smoked and did take out some of the wiring. So all that work I did over the winter, I'm gonna have to pull the dash back out real quick, and figure out what went melted down and fix that. And so that was today's ups and downs. Other than that, the car's doing well. I also have a motor that I picked up, a 1.8 GTI engine that I'm going to be starting to tear down. So I'm going to be making some videos on that for those of you interested in automotive related stuff. So mushrooms. No, we don't really get into mushrooms here, but there are folks that do. So let's see. What do you run for a CB? Says Arc of Dragon Face. I have a Bearcat 980 SSB unit in radio, and in the car I have a President McKinley sideband radio. Well, and I have a bunch of cars, all junk cars, so I have a bunch of CBs, but the only sideband ones are those two. Let's see here. About 10 years ago or so, I saw a small Mitsubishi in Thailand, 12-inch wheels. Could that have been an old Mirage? It could be. Now, they also have an electric car. There's a Mirage that, well, in the States that is based, I can't remember what model number that was, but I'm wondering if maybe the Mirage or the Mitsubishi that you saw was the one that eventually turned into an electric car here stateside. Megan, good to see you. Good from Boston, man. Cool evening there. Yeah, it's supposed to be a high of like 47 here tomorrow. So, gosh, man, summer just refuses to get started here. Rose saying, I got to downtown Atlanta and Ontario, Canada on Friday. Was that solar flares? Yeah, apparently there was some solar activity, which interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit. So I read an interesting article today. You know, we've had really, really low solar. You know, it's the solar minimum. I mean, and that's normal. It's a cycle that goes through. But our last solar maximum wasn't really all that active, and this is the cycle that the sun goes in, where it becomes very active. There's a lot of solar flares, and then it gets quiet. Well, the last solar maximum was not very maximum at all. It was very moderate. It hardly even came up. And now we're in a solar minimum, and they're saying that the sun is as dead as it's been in recorded history, which I find to be very frightening. Because as much as I don't make this a political show. We talk about global warming in the sense that some people think it's man-made, some others think it's more likely made by solar events, and some people think it's made a mixture of both. Well, the Earth does have a large influence, or is influenced largely by the sun. So if the sun goes quiet, if the burn goes down a little bit, it actually does affect it, and that's when you get these cool summers like it looks like we're about to have. And there's some evidence. We had the year without summer, which I think was caused by a volcano years ago in the 1600s. But there's also been some solar activity that can cause issues where we don't have very warm summers, and that can be very damaging to crops, and so some big issues there. So that was kind of an interesting thing to see that one of the reasons why we're not getting a lot of skip worldwide right now, or it's very sporadic, is that the sun is very quiet, very, very quiet, a little strangely quiet. Hopefully it's not safe enough for something big like a big old EMP slap across our collective faces, because pretty much that's the end of it for us. Rooster, how you doing, brother? Spent my Trump bucks on a 302 HO crate motor for my truck. Almost got it done. Right on, dude. Yeah. Man, I'm getting old enough. Maybe I should just buy a new motor next time I need one instead of trying to rebuild them. I'm getting kind of tired of rebuilding stuff. Jordan B, yes, tropical storm is brewing in North Carolina. It's off the coast right now. The storm that we're getting, though, I think is coming up from, or coming down from the north. And it's just raining here in the mountains, which it sticks on the mountains here. So that's what's going on here. But yeah, I think by this weekend, we're supposed to have the tropical storm leftovers here. So we're just going to be in the rain for quite a while here. But the temps are supposed to go back up into the low 70s here. Archie Archer saying hello. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. Just car things. It's pouring here in Charlotte. Right on, brother. Dallas Rife. Volkswagen looks awesome, buddy. Good job. And a good choice. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I love that car. Every time I sit in it, it just brings back memories of the 80s and my youth. And there's many of us out there. There's probably a few, but there aren't many of us out there that don't have fond memories of their youth, at least in some points. Always ups and downs, but memories always seem to favor the good times and not the bad ones. Hey, Calcius. Spent a lot of money lately on 4 months of food and some ammo and some other stuff. Suddenly, pushing back my dream of owning 2 acres in the forest for a bit. So I read an interesting article, Calcius. I've been read a lot this morning actually because of the rain before I went outside and got to work out here in the garage. That there's folks who have money, and I of course am not one of them, but there's folks who have money, and they're sitting there, doing this because the housing market, and then of course all real estate right behind it, is fixing to collapse in a way similar to '08. In fact, probably much worse, unfortunately. So if you're one of the few that had money in the bank, or I guess if you're one of the few that keeps a job and is able to still get a loan, housing prices, land prices are probably going to dip quite drastically here. I would say, what is it, 2020? Let's say the end of 2021, you'll be able to get a heck of a deal on something at the rate things are going. That's not really a great thing, for the reasons behind it, but just something to be aware of, man. Sock those nuts away like a good squirrel, and who knows what might happen, right? Maybe you'll have the money when the time is right. Some person saying, hey, just what we need, cool weather during a pandemic that is helped by cool weather. Yeah, no doubt, right? Just picked up President Dwight D for $30. Right on, dude. That's a great deal. Megan saying a Farmer's Almanac saying it's going to be a cool summer. My wife lives by that almanac. I don't know. I've never really put a whole lot of thought into it, but she swears by it and she plans around it. So if they're saying it's cool, well, then I'll go with that. It probably will be. William Hewitt, hello, my friend. Hot and dry here in Mosquito Lagoon, Space Coast of Florida. Cool, brother. I envy your location for the launches of all those cool rockets. And I think we are, 8 or 7 days away from SpaceX putting their first humans into orbit on a SpaceX ship. Hopefully that goes off without a hitch. I'm looking forward to that. Also liking some of the stuff coming out of Elon Musk's mouth lately, but we won't get into that here. CJ, are the A99 ground plane worth it, or can I make my own? So I've had an A99 for many, 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 many years. Never had a ground plane kit for it, so it's hard for me to comment on it, but I can say that the A99 itself is a great antenna and will do a good job for you. Rose saying, I got an idea. Could you fit a Porsche 914 in that truck? This truck is so small that like a rear engine rider. So I actually, my old truck, my black one that I had for so many years, I made a good living with that truck. So I did landscaping, construction, restorations, renovations, you name it. And you could barely fit a 30-inch rear engine cutter, like like the equivalent of like a real small lawn type riding mower into the back of that thing, man. But you may do, and I loved it. And gosh, I made a ton of money with that little truck. Jamaican Dog saying he's already picked his first jalapeno pepper. Wow, that's awesome, dude. We have just planted literally last weekend. So that's how different the coast is to the mountains as far as climate. Rooster Cogburn said it was $1,800 for a long block. That's not a bad price at all, seriously. And some is, good company to deal with, no doubt. Rock and Rod finally got my Max 2000 hooked up. Hope we can make contact. Right on. Northern New York. So no doubt, Rock and Rod. I seem to always make contact with like Canada and upstate New York. This last couple months have just been, that's the way the conditions have been rolling. And so I would say there's a fairly good chance of that. Some person, if you have money, convert it to flour. Yeah, right, dude. Seriously. I don't disagree with that. One day at a time. Welcome to the club, my friend. Hello from South Carolina. Reggie saying hi from Dublin. Good to see you, man. It's great. I love the fact that we get people from all over the world in here. New Puzzles, are you the singer and the song? No, sir, no D. No, I can't sing worth a crap. That is Marky Shaw. And he did the theme song for me. He has a YouTube channel here. Just Google Marky Shaw. But he makes songs, does jingles and stuff. And he's a great guy. He really is a great guy. And that song sticks to your brain like honey. So definitely something that was worth about $1 million, of course. So I'm very proud of that. Jordan B, is Tesla moving awesome? I hadn't heard that. I know they'd been talking about it, so good for them. Need to get to a place that respects businesses. Super B, good to see you in here, my friend. Good to see you. Thanks for the kind words the other day, my friend. Kenny Harrington, hello from Laramie, Wyoming. Beautiful place. I've been through there, oh gosh, a long time ago, but I was through there, man. Beautiful part of the world. Semi-professional hillbilly. Elon Musk is the real-life Tony Stark. I agree. He's almost larger than life. He's such a character. And, I think we talked about this last week, or maybe I was talking with somebody else about this, but I firmly believe that Elon Musk will be the person that gets put into the history books along the lines with Edison and and Tesla, and other great minds. I really feel like we're living in an era where we finally have somebody here who's a true visionary, and of course, not every that's the beauty of it. People look at like well, let's say Edison, and like, oh man, inventor of this, inventor of that. Yeah, but he's also a weird dude. Nobody's perfect. So Musk is no different. Musk is going to be hated by some and loved by others, and but he is a visionary and he needs to be respected for that anyway. That a lot of folks take their money and they hoard it. Look at Bezos, man. The dude's going to be the world's first trillionaire, and he's got Blue Horizons. He's working on his own space stuff, but really, is he? All he wants to do is be richer and richer and richer. He's not taking that money and be blowing it on all kinds of other cool things that he could be. And for me, that's what sets him apart from Musk. Some person say Musk is crazier than a pack of cats, but I'm very excited to see SpaceX succeed. Right on, dude. Yeah, exactly. Some people love him, some people hate him, but you got to give the guy credit. Is your VW rear wheel drive or front wheel drive? No, no way to. Well, you could. I mean, with enough money and modifications, you can slam a V8 in there. But no, it's a front wheel drive. Very, very small front wheel drive. You can. There are people who have put VR6s into them. Volkswagen made those VR6s for a while. Then a lot of people put 16 valves or turbocharged 16 valves. But I'm kind of a purist. The most I would do to that car would be to upgrade the displacements from the 1.6 that it is to maybe a 1.8 or even possibly a 2.0. But that's as far as I would take it. I'm kind of a purist. I want to keep the original CIS. This is a CIS base system where it doesn't even have an O2 sensor or ECT or any of that stuff. It's purely mechanical, and that's the beauty of it for me, anyway, is the simplicity of it. So there you go. Man, oh my gosh, so many cars, so many stuff. Elon just needs to show up on. Yeah, I agree with that. One day at a time. How's the weather? Cold, rainy. That's how the weather is. Tesla's nice and all, but those trucking jobs will be going bye-bye. Yeah, and I talk about that sometimes, how automation is, the first phase of automation that's really going to kill it when automated driving comes into play is trucking, especially a specific type of trucking. Your UPS jobs, your dump truck drivers, those kind of jobs will stick around for a while, but the jobs where it goes from warehouse to factory or factory to warehouse, where it's just literally one-stop shopping, those will be some of the first to go, and that is unfortunate. But I think there's a lot of folks out there that realize that, and so get the people that do get into the trucking industry right now. Excuse me, are probably fairly aware that the future is coming. So Super B just commented he missed the last stream. That's all right, man. It was real short notice. Vet 08, my first car was let's see here. My first car. Oh no, I lost it. My first car was a cousin to your Rabbit, 82 MB 240D. I rusted out in 2003. Yeah, those Mercedes-Benz, those 240s and the diesels in particular of that era just couldn't be killed, man. Megan Boyle, yep, my nose on. Yeah, there you go. Call me Luke. Hello from Waynesville, Ohio. Good to see you. Watch my videos. I appreciate that, man. Welcome to the live show. David G. I'm watching YouTube app on TV. Hope everyone's doing well. Good to see you, man. Good to see you in there. Hope you're doing good up there. You think the economy is going to tank now, wipe out 3 million trucker jobs and all the people at the truck stops and dealers and fuel and all that? Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. We are already in a Great Depression. In fact, I think history will refer to this as the Greatest Depression. This depression, in my opinion, will end with a world war against China. There's really no way around it at this point. But how long it takes to get from where we are to the end result, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong about all that prediction, but the historian in me looks back at the way that these things have worked in the past, and it seems almost painfully obvious that we're destined to repeat ourselves here very shortly. Why are we talking about Tesla? They just talked about him on The Big Bang Theory. Oh, interesting. Rooster Cogburn, let's see here, was going down, yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. Jordan B. Elon did a recent interview with Joe Rogan. Yeah, I loved that, man. And like people got all butthurt about that, but I think it was a lovely interview and certainly worth it. Rogan, who I'm not a huge fan of, or like I kind of sometimes am, but Rogan is like he does pretty darn good interviews because he's a relaxing guy. He just wants to roll with it, and he'll throw questions from all over the place. He doesn't have gotcha questions. He just lets people do his thing, man. And I really appreciate him for that. Of course, he's had AJ on a few times, and they're friends in real life. And I think the more that time passes, it sounds recently like Elon is, becoming maybe a warrior of the info, so to speak. Some person, Bezos may die a trillionaire, but he's still going to die. And where's all that money going to go? Exactly. The companies come and go. And Bezos really wants to make a name for himself. He puts a name for the future. And going to Mars, while it seems like an insane idea, is the future. Well, it could be a possible future, but it certainly is visionary. Building automated AI vehicles is certainly visionary, whether it's a good idea or not. And electric cars are coming whether we want them to or not. It's not a great, um, it's not as good for the environment as we all like to think it is, but I'm a firm believer that electric cars are the future, regardless of whether they're good for the environment or not. They're just better. They're better cars. The electric cars are better than gas cars. For those of you who think about Priuses and the mockery that a lot of folks receive for driving a Prius, that's all fine and dandy. But they're the Tesla and a lot of these new electric cars, they're simply faster. They're just better cars, man. You drive one of these things, and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm done with gas. That's cool. Hey, Brian, how you doing, man? Brian, man, what's shaking, bacon? Did you see my shed build? Yeah, dude. I watched. Well, I haven't seen the last part. Did you put another piece up there? Because, yeah, I watched the beginning part of it. Al Martin made a jar of pickled dogs after watching your video. Made some eggs too. Maybe a meat canning video. So I do have a meat canning video up there. I think last week we were talking about people wanting me to make a jam making video. We picked a bunch of uh, blueberries and strawberries and stuff that we had in the freezer from last year, and we are going to throw those out. We've got them all collected. We're going to make some jam videos here. So, Charlie Porter saying, met the engineers. Right on, dude. Hey, Gary Flannery, thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate the donation. Keep it up. I love the little picture icon or whatever that is. GIF. Really cool, man. I appreciate that, Gary. Anytime anybody donates, it's really nice that you feel the channel's worth paying for. That's kind of cool to me. And it's funny, I call this a channel because this is like a TV channel for me, man. I get to make videos about all kinds of stuff now. That's really, God, the future's such a weird place, isn't it, man? It just blows me away. Anyway, let's roll down. Oh my gosh, I've missed so many of these things. Okay, Intimidator still waiting on the UV82 test. Yes, I know, man. I'm getting there. William Hewitt saying he's got a local fan base here. Help a local economies. Excellent to hear that. 9mm AR man says, of course, Rogan's relaxed. He's stoned all the time. You might have a point there, big guy. I hadn't really ever thought about it that way, but you might be right about that. He is always smoking that wacky tobacco there. Rose saying when Rogan flipped on the moon landing, he lost his snap and became just an interviewer, in my opinion. Interesting. Mowerman 245, hello, my friend. Good to see you, buddy. Call me Luke. I drive an 85 Buick Skylark. Got a great 17 miles a gallon. Buick Skylark, I'm trying to think of what an 85 looked for. I know the 84s were based on the X body. I had an 82 Citation, so I can't remember if the 85 might have been the last year of that body style. So is that an X body? Or is that one of the bigger Skylarks, the full size, like, what is it, J body or something like that? Jamaica Dog, Tesla was amazing. Check out bass music on YouTube. Frequency is important. Yeah, I've read some stuff about that and watched a few videos on that. It's actually something I need to do more research on, but I have heard that frequency does affect mood quite a bit, and I'm kind of interesting. I find that interesting. Vet OA wants to know, is the VW truck a soft ride or a firm ride? It is more car-like than truck-like. I wouldn't call it soft. European car kind of has a sporty suspension, but it's not hard like a truck would have. It's not like that. So, Mowerman saying hello, my friend. Rooster Cogburn, can you carry a gallon of extra electricity in the trunk though? No, and that there are issues with electric cars, but people like Musk are working on solving that. The battery technology that he's helped further is insane. And I think that when we have that breakthrough, which is now, more likely to occur in our lifetime, or hopefully our lifetime, that will really push solar and electric and everything battery into the future in a big way, and it'll decentralize the electric grid, which would be kind of cool. Super B, well, the 3 build I have learned I cannot swing a 24-ounce hammer anymore. Yeah, buddy, I've gone to screws. It's more expensive, but it sure is a little easier on the shoulders, isn't it? Bless B Hess 93. I just bought a Craftsman GT, and your video convinced me to pull the trigger on it. Love it so far. Craftsman garden tractors are awesome, man. I've got one here that I'm going to be putting up some videos on. I'm really backed up on videos. I've got about 30 videos in the queue. So I may start doing them 4 a week, but then there's a part of me that doesn't, because I know that slow times will come again, and I won't have anything to put up if I print them all out at once. So let's see here. X-Body. Yeah, call me Luke. So it is an X-Body. Right on, dude. Well, I loved my citation. They got a lot of hate, but I thought they were great, man. Um, call me Luke saying you got laughed at for having a CB in it. Man, people are always going to laugh. People are always going to hate. Look, there's dudes driving around and, quad cab, dually, diesel pushers, freaking monstrous F-350s and Rams and all the rest. And I'm driving around in the world's smallest production truck. And, of course people are going to laugh. But I think that's part of the fun, is you can be in on the joke. You know what I mean? Like, of course I know I look like a clown in a clown car when driving around, a big 6'3" dude, driving around in a car you can barely squeeze into. But, yeah, same thing with CB radios. I got the 9-foot whip. People are always asking me what that's all about. So, William Hewitt saying, man, he had an A2 citation with the V6 fastback. Window blew out of the highway speed, windows down. Yeah, I had the hatchback too. That was, I called it the whale because it kind of had that humpback look to it. But it was an interesting car, man. Jordan B wants to know about SDR radio. Have I ever used one? I have. I got a really nice one. I just don't get enough time to play with the thing, but very interesting. I enjoy it. It's cool. There's software you can get, to track planes and all kinds of stuff, man. Right on, dude. Intimidator, if you get rid of too much fuel for autos and you will end up dead. Big guys are watching. Yeah, it's true, man. Back in the 80s, boy, there was guys that came up with those real fuel efficient carburetors and stuff like that, and then they just disappeared. Amazing how that works. We're definitely not in charge of our own fate sometimes. Glenn Francis, one thing with electric is the lack of infrastructure to charge cars and the time it takes, but it'll be interesting to watch how it all develops. Right, so it's a matter of supply and demand. People keep supplying those cars, they'll be demanding those charging stations. And think about the turn of the century before this last century, when when cars first became a thing. No roads really. We're looking at dirt roads. We're looking at very few places to fill up gas. And then as these things became more popular, more gas stations were built, and more refineries were built to make the gas. So it's the same kind of scenario we're seeing play out here. It's all been done before, and I'm sure at some point when they create cold fusion or something like that, we'll be going through it all over again. Call me Luke saying he has a Boland's lawn tractor got for free with one of those Very drives in it. Very nice, man. Michael Root, how you been, brother? Small trucks are cool. I think so too. I really, really wish, and I know we've talked about it on the show before, but I am like firm believer that the world needs more compact trucks, and it just ticks me off that the Toyota Tacoma is now bigger than my T100, which was considered a full-size truck when it was released. And they're calling that a midsize, and I wish they would bring back the Ranger and the S10 and the Nissan original, like the hard body, and those size trucks. The Mazda B2200 was an excellent vehicle. The Isuzu Pup and the Isuzu Pickup and the Mighty Max, Mitsubishi Mighty Max. Those are all great trucks. In fact, I was looking yesterday at an Isuzu pickup truck, like a 92, in great shape, needed some head work done on it. I was going to go off with a dolly that I have, pick that thing up, take it up here, make it kind of one of the cars that I flip, because they're really good vehicles. They're just kind of crazy, man. You just don't see them much anymore. The horizontal AM radio in that citation. Oh my gosh, you're right about that. That up and down radio. I tried to put a tape deck in mine. The thing wouldn't play unless you stuck a matchbook in and pushed against the tape deck. It was something else, man. Oh gosh. Yeah. Some person's got a good point. If there's a disaster that takes out the cell network, they'll sing a different tune. Yeah, all of a sudden CB radio doesn't sound so silly, right? A lot of the things that homesteaders have been doing and preppers and survivalists and those kind of things suddenly don't seem so crazy. I know that's a lot of folks feeling like they're vindicated slightly with all this mess that's going on. Roll Rolfson saying he got an S10 quad cab with a short box, all-wheel drive, love it. Yeah, great vehicles, man. You can't kill them. Have you ever thought about making a Discord server? I am very tech unsavvy. It is something I can certainly look into. I've been on Discord a few times, but I have not thought about that, no. What would be the benefit of that? I'm kind of curious. Oh man, there's a bunch. I'm missing. Have you, Farpoint 707, this is Charlie 6, Central Arkansas, looking for a copy. Hey, Charlie 6, good to see you, man. Moreman 425, the little YouTube play symbol. I'm not sure what that means, but thank you. Let's go with that. Rock and Rod saying hard times are coming, prep for the future. No doubt, no doubt. And that's something I've been preaching here quietly. I don't want to come across as anything outrageous here on this channel, so I've kind of taken it real easy on this side of homesteading, which is really what I focus on up here in my private life. But yeah, everybody should be pretending or prepping at this point. As long as you can fit a mower in the truck, it's big enough. I agree with that 100%. Read compact trucks facts, yeah. Man, I'm going to skip across some of these because I'm falling behind anybody. Don't forget the Chevy Love 4x4. Yeah, that was a great vehicle, and it's so rare to see those, man. But there's a couple of them that I've come across in the last decade or so. Megan, yeah, I've got a video coming out on Sunday, Megan, that you might want to look at because it's called a emergency or help radio. And it's what I'm putting in my wife's car, and it's something you might want to have. That way you don't have to set the thing up. You just kind of throw it in the trunk. And if you have a breakdown or get caught in traffic, you can go back and grab the thing. And anyway, I'll just check it out on Sunday, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Jamaica Dog, I wish I could find a Chevy Love truck from the early 70s. My friend had one when I was a teen. They were great trucks. They were. Chevy Love, I think, was based on the Isuzu. So I think a Chevy Love is an Isuzu. I know that Mitsubishi was the Dodge Ram 50, and so the Mitsubishi Mighty Max was the Dodge Ram 50, and I can't remember. Like there were so many American trucks. The Mazda B2200 was the Ford Courier, and then it turned around. It was reversed when the Mazda 2300 came out. That was actually a Ford Ranger. So Mazda built the trucks for Ford, and then Ford built the trucks for Mazda. Very interesting how this world works. 9mm Airman, I wish Toyota would reintroduce the old 4x4 solid axle 22 RE 5-speed. Yeah, buddy. I agree with that. I actually had thought of a way. One of the reasons that cars are so expensive now is because of all the safety requirements. TPMS monitors, rear cameras, airbags, anti-lock brakes. And, why couldn't we commission a car to be remade, something from the 80s or whatever that was a popular seller, and the person buying it just realizes they're going to pay a much higher insurance cost because the vehicle is more likely to get them killed. But, that would make sense, so we can't do that. So Luke is saying the benefit of a Discord server is that you can keep up with your community is talking about and make announcements for things on your channel. Okay, so kind of like, just another social media platform. I'm terrible with that. I do have a Facebook page and I have a Twitter account, both of which I occasionally visit. And I made a promise in January that I was going to do better with that stuff. But man, life just soaks up so much of your time, So much stuff going on the farm. It's hard to add more to the plate. Glenn Francis saying he had a little Ram 50 truck. The Mitsubishi made one. Loved it. Like you did, landscape and work out of it. Yeah, and they're just, it's almost like a faithful friend. Those things just wouldn't quit. Goodwill is a good place to find radios. I got a Cobra 29, brand new, man, for $5. Couldn't believe it. I have an old Midland Ready Rescue 2 that comes in a tough case. Yep, that's exactly the kind of radio that I picked up for my wife for emergencies. Yep. So I think I got a GE one for her, but yeah. Luke saying he thinks the square body trucks are the best ever made. They were very reliable and very simple, those Chevy trucks, and they're also as rare as hen's teeth. I drove a '79 that was a dually that had a dump body on it. That wasn't my truck, but it was when I was working landscaping with another guy. I drove it every day, 3-speed with a granny gear, so it was literally like a 2-speed transmission, but sucked gas. I mean, you could watch the gauge move on the highway, but other than that, it was a great truck. Al Martin III said he bought a McKinley with a New York antenna. Right on, dude. 2 days later, a friend offers him a 148 and a Ranger era 198 mic for 50. Heck yeah! Well, now you're really in it, man. Now you got some cool stuff going there. There's a tractor server that I'm in. Right on, dude. Well, I'll look into it, man. Glenn Francis in the 80s, I just wanted to grow up, and now we just want to go back in time, miss the great cars and times. Right on. I agree with that too, man. I'm kind of different. Like, there were certain things in my life that I wanted to, move on from, but I kind of really enjoyed the 80s and the very early 90s, and I'd been happy if it never had moved on because I was living it up, man. Those were good times. I may not have been a very rich man, but I certainly was living like I was. carefree, I guess is what it is. We didn't have all those responsibilities. I didn't own anything, so it was easy. It's easy not to worry too much when you don't have anything to lose. When you don't have anything, it's kind of interesting. Justin Webb saying modern trucks are too big and overpriced. I agree. Like 60, 70 grand for a truck. Holy crap. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I paid like 80 grand for my first house, man. And I felt like that was too much money. So that's, to think about spending that on a vehicle that is eventually going to end up in a junkyard is pretty rough, man. Houses, at least, if you take care of them and the market takes you well, will make a little money when you resell them. But rough. Jamaican Dog wants to know whatever happened to little Suzuki Jeeps from very early 70s, 4x4s with climb a tree. The Suzuki Samurai. Jamaican Dog, here is why sometimes American regulations suck. The Suzuki Samurai is called the Jimny, and it's still made everywhere else in the world, sold everywhere else in the world, but here, and it does really, really well. So, yeah. So that's it. We don't get it because, it doesn't have airbags and it doesn't have ABS and it doesn't have a backup camera and it doesn't have 10,000 computers that need to be constantly repaired and broken, wiring and all the rest. No. But the Jimny exists everywhere else. You can get a tin top or a soft top and it's a big seller. Google it. They got some videos on the newest version. And the funniest thing is you take a look at the newest version and put it right next to one from the 70s and they literally are almost identical. It's great. Dave Osborne saying, howdy, used to live in Salida? Is that? Yeah, okay. Salida. I think my sister went on vacation there, a little bit more towards Asheville side, right? Do you have a dash cam in your car? I do not, but it's something I've actually considered getting because, it's just a matter of time before somebody gets a wreck. Some person I used to live in a town where there was a big slam scene. Every square body S10 had been snapped up and dropped to the dirt. Yeah, what was that? Mini Trucker. Dude, when I was in the Army, there was a guy with me. He was from Iowa, I think it was. A good guy. And he got Mini Trucking magazine, man. He drove over that stuff every day. But they were like low to the ground and shaved the door handles. And it was so cool. There was a whole scene. I could never afford to do any of that stuff. But I remember looking at the magazines and thinking how cool it was. 9mm AR, man. I had an 84 one-ton dually with a flatbed stake body. Right on, dude. Excellent vehicles. Maxed out at 55. Yeah, I don't think that old 79 I drove would have done very well on modern highways. It was still 55 speed limits back then. Got to get up at 3:30. Hate to do it. Glenn, have a good night, my friends. Thank you for coming in here. I appreciate that. Megan, love my Mirage, but I miss my Xterra. Yeah, that big old Nissan Xterra. Those were popular cars. My father-in-law had one, but man, Nissan's reliability has gone way down. You look at some of the problems. They're getting class action lawsuits. They've got some serious problems with some of their new motors, and they're getting sued. Of course, the head of Nissan was arrested and put in jail for embezzlement, and then he fled to Lebanon. Now he's hiding out somewhere. So that company's got some serious issues, man. Barry R., I would like to put a CB station in my basement workroom bench. What's a good way to wire an antenna, and how do I install the antenna in ground or on the house? So I would put the antenna, you can put it on the side of your house, but definitely run a ground wire to a grounding rod in the ground, and then run the wire down through, say a window or something like that into your garage. As far as reception, as long as the antenna's on the roof, it doesn't matter where your radio is, so you can put that anywhere you want. Certainly, I've made some videos on how to install base stations, so you're welcome to check that out. Call me Luke. 80s Buick Skylarks only have 2 gauges, speed and fuel. Yep. And a 4-dash indicator light. That's all you really need. Computers make things annoying. They do. The car that's in this picture here today has 1 gauge. It is a speedometer and has a fuel gauge light built into it. And that's it. The rest of it's warning lights. That's it. So just like the Skylark. Rooster saying he liked the look of the Dodge Mini trucks lowered. Yeah, I mean, it was just cool. Folks, if you haven't already, if you would please hit the like button, I'd appreciate that. It helps the channel out slightly. My gosh, I'm losing my voice already. I'm going to take a sip, and we'll get back to it. Hopefully, if I can continue talking. Mower Junkie, good to see you in there, man. How are you doing tonight? I started my show late tonight. Well, late for me anyway. Usually, I'm looking at bed this time of night. CJ saying, ever tried 2-meter satellites? I have not ever tried that. But speaking of satellites, Robbie Strike, a.k.a. Ottawa Octane, has a channel here where he does a lot about free-to-air satellite stuff. And we've been talking privately, and he set me up. He told me where to go and what to get. I'm going to get back into the free-to-air satellite system, so I bought a receiver, and I've got a dish coming, and so I'll make a video or two on that. But there's a lot of free feeds that are going on up in outer space, and you just need about $100 worth of equipment or less if you can find one used, and you can really do some really cool stuff there. So I used to play around with that back in the 90s and into the 2000s, so I'm really excited to get back into that. And he's a cool guy. Matter of fact, he just started a BitChute account, and he's going to be uploading over there as well. Like-minded folks, if you know what I mean. Super B, need to find an MK1 GTI dash for that truck. Man, rare as hen's teeth, dude. I've been looking, and I can't find one to save my life. So I put the original dash back in it and put a dash mat over it to kind of hide the cracks. But sure would love to find a pristine one. They don't make reproductions for it, so it's unfortunate. Rooster says, got to drive. Wouldn't want to chat and drive. Law says I'm not allowed. All right, Rooster. Well, great having you in here, my friend. Always nice to see you, buddy. Doug Morton, hey, CB Shotgun, right on, brother. Take care, everybody. Crazy 55 rider. I have a 244 for channel 1 and a 248 for 40, and I have a good ground on that SWR Bearcat. What else could be the problem? What kind of base station antenna are you using there, Crazy Rider? Or is it what kind of antenna are you using? Because that's not acceptable for sure. You might be the location, and something's definitely not right. Megan saying most of the stars you see at night are geosynchronous satellites. Sad but true, Megan. Sad but true. The Hensley Show, I was just watching one of your videos, and boom, you're live. I will subscribe. Well, thank you, my friend. Hensley Show, I haven't talked to you before, but welcome to it. We're just hanging out, talking about anything, nothing in particular. You want to talk about radios, we can. You want to talk about life, we can. Try not to talk about politics if we can help it, because we don't want to get everybody all hurt. Free to air, but will it work from an apartment? Sure, if you have like a balcony and it's not illegal to set it up, certainly. The dish itself is not much bigger than like a Dish Network size dish, but it uses a slightly different receiver. So the dish, I think, is a circular receptor. These are horizontal and vertical, so you can't tell the difference from looking at it. But that's why you can't just use a regular dish satellite, although you can modify one to work, man. So yeah, I'll be making some videos on that, and it certainly you should check out Otto Octane and Robbie Strike, because he definitely is like the king on YouTube of FTA stuff. Luke Workman, how's your Kubota BX doing? Any problems or things you don't like? No problems this year. I'm trying to think if there's anything about that tractor I don't like. I don't like the fact that I have now twice smashed into my building with the ropes up because I forget to put it down. That kind of sucks, but it also probably will save my life someday when I roll that thing down the mountain. I'm going to say that's the only thing I haven't liked about it. Other than that, man, it's great. Gets the job done for sure. Kelsey is saying BitChute needs to fix their darn search function in their login page. I agree with that, and money makes the world go round. They take most of their money on donations because, of course, corporate media has blacklisted them, so no one wants to advertise on their site. So BitChute operates mainly off of donations. So, and of course, there's people here on YouTube that don't have monetization that operate off of Patreon or whatever. But that whole company, BitChute itself, which also I think operates Gab, if I'm not mistaken, they operate pretty much on donations. So it's a miracle that they have as much bandwidth and as much going on as they do. But I certainly I wish them well. I hope they do well in the future. I'd love to see them get a Roku app so I could watch BitChute on Roku. Some person asking if I ever play around with SDR radios. Certainly, dude. As a matter of fact, let me grab it. I've got this one right here. It's the RTL SDR. Let's see if it shows up on the screen here. I'll hold it up here for a second just to make sure I've got it centered. It's hard to tell where the camera is. Oh, there we go. It's on this side. There we go. RTL SDR radio. And I've been playing with it some. It plugs in, but I just don't have a whole lot of time to... just don't have a whole lot of time to play. A lot of times I focus so much on CB just because time constraints. But when I do get time to play with it, I'm not very computer savvy. That's the other big problem. But I do like going through and being able to access all the bands. And the one I got goes into the HF frequencies as well. So it's really nice. Philip Bruno wants to know what my number on 38 LSB is. It is Farpoint Farm 707. That's usually what I call out with. So If I ever hear you on there, I'll shoot you back, man. William Hewitt, could that DAS be upholstered in vinyl? The other one is, yeah, it's like a hard plastic. I've seen people attempt it, and usually it doesn't come out all that great. But with enough money, you can do anything, you know. Unfortunately, I don't have enough money. It's not so bad the way it is. All the cracks and all the damage are up underneath where the carpeted mat is. So really, with the mat on there, you don't notice there's an issue. Sorry, guys. Rose saying to check his antenna. The problem. 556. Good to see you in there, man. Sorry, he's on DX is rolling. Oh, no kidding. I'll have to flip it on here in a little while. CJ saying, are you on QRZ? I am not, that I am aware of. Philip Bailey, my SWR meter on my Cobra 29 shows 1 or less all the way through 1. So when I put my meter in line, it goes crazy. I have a Will 2000. Do you have any advice? Get another meter. It could be that your meter is the problem. I've certainly, and this is something I taught in automotive, is that, the first thing you want to test when you're using a test light is the test light. You don't want to be sitting there looking for power for 10 minutes and realize that the bulb inside the test light was the problem. So always try to double check. So if one meter's telling you this and another meter's telling you that, well, one of those is lying to you, and we need to figure out which one it is. So Super B60 saying MK1 Scirocco Jazz and MK1 GTI Speedo cluster. I go with that. That sounds like a nice setup. Dallas says, don't shame that fancy pleather. Yes, sir. The finest pleather. Gosh, they don't make cars with vinyl seats anymore. Think about that, dude. I just can't believe that. Like, they don't. It's like, and I would rather have, to be honest with you, I'd rather have cloth seats than leather. But I'd rather have pleather than leather, too, because pleather, when it finally rips, it's because it's really old. Leather cracks and gets weird and all that stuff. But yeah, they don't make pleather seats or plastic seats anymore, or vinyl seats. Hate that. Calcius, I hear people on CB once in a while, but I'm afraid to talk because I don't know what to say or the proper etiquette on how to talk on the radio. Dude, there really isn't, and I agree with you on that. Like, it can be daunting for new people to get in there and they hear people talking. Like, a lot of the questions I get are, what are these numbers? How do I get these numbers assigned to me? And it cracks people up to realize that you just pick your own numbers. There was a time when it was area codes, and then it just became anything you wanted to. So lucky numbers, or in my case, it was an employee ID number, 707. So 74707 was the employee ID number I had. So I was like, okay, 707, North Star 707. So yeah, you're right, and it seems like it always seems like for a lot of folks too, they're breaking in on a conversation and that everybody seems to know each other. But the truth is, most people don't actually know each other. The familiarity comes in the fact that maybe they have spoken once or twice before, but it's always just briefly. That's the beauty of Skip. So don't feel too embarrassed. And if something does go wrong, well, just turn off the radio and try again in a couple days. Philip Bailey, thank you being safe out there in America. Right on, brother. Jordan B, yawning is contagious and my workday is not over. Sorry, man. I am tired. And I've got a long day in front of me tomorrow. I actually got to go into town. Got some paperwork I got to work on. Company stuff. Things are not well in the town that I live in. The effects of half the town being unemployed are starting to take effect. So the worm is turning in an unfortunate manner. CJ, what HF rig did you have back in the day? I had a TS430. Some person, I've always preferred vinyl because you can just wipe them down, right? Exactly. Like you get spills on, it's not a big deal. Where it doesn't soak in, like a leather does. Michael Root, I have a GMRS handheld radio. Pick up a lot of cool stuff when I get bored. Mess with that rock place by my house. They get mad. Right on, dude. That's awesome. Vinyl bondage alert, summertime. Oh man, remember that? Oh yeah, you'd have short shorts on there, and you and you go to get up, and it rips. Oh yeah, Mower Junkies chiming in. Yeah, I've had so many people ask about the numbers. Yeah, and think about it. If you're an 18-year-old guy or a 16-year-old guy or gal, and you want to get into radio, and those are questions we kind of as old timers take for granted, but I get a lot of people asking questions about that stuff, and it's it's one that's not so hard to do. 9mm era, man, CB etiquette is pretty darn unprofessional around here. Yeah, and you can have some local groups. I will say this, like, as far as me, Calcius, talking, like when I moved up here, talking skip has never been an issue because those people come and they go, and a lot of times you never hear the same person twice, or very rarely. But local groups, like if you have a local group of people that are getting together, on Saturdays or Fridays or whenever and chatting, that's where it feels really weird to be like, "Hello, I'm Eric. Hey, yeah, what are you guys doing?" Would you walk up to a crowd of people and just introduce yourself like that? So that can definitely be daunting. I think it's I feel that. I feel your pain on that one, man. And I had to do that. And the guys that I talk to are many years older than me. Most of these guys are mid to late 70s. And I was certainly worried. And also, the only thing we have in common other than radios is the fact that a lot of these guys are old farmers. And me being an amateur farmer, and I'm not going to pretend I'm in the same league as these guys. These guys have hundreds of acres. But, there's that to talk about. But as far as I don't know a lot of their friends and family. So a lot of times the conversations are talking about, hey, remember old so-and-so? Yeah, he's dead. And I don't know these folks, so I just kind of sit on the side for those kind of conversations. But there's fun stuff too. One clip that I uploaded there where they're talking about moonshine, stuff like that. So we'll get into conversations about pretty cool stuff too. So some person, I think you need to do a tutorial on how to choose an awesome CB radio handle. Right on. Sounds interesting, my friend. Another question: how many acres do you farm? Well, the property I live on is about 6.5, and I farm about half of that, I'd say, realistically. So we have 2 acres of field. We have about 3/4 of an acre of garden this year, and about 2 acres fenced for the animals. So that's about where we're at. David, you take care, man. Have a good night. Put my CB in my car when I first started driving. Right on. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, Luke, that's the exact reason why people do it. I want to hear what's going on around me. If there's a wreck, you're going to know about it long before anybody else in that traffic jam is. Super B saying Sidewinder 462. I started military as an Air Force weapons loader. AIM 9 Sidewinders and the MOS was 462, right? So people just kind of, how do I put this together? That's awesome, man. That's a great backstory on that, dude. That's awesome. David Kingsman, I started CB for years before getting my ham license. I still do CB. Yeah, a lot of people do. In fact, a lot of people get like myself, where they get CB, get into ham, and then maybe they don't get enough out of ham, and they end up back on CB. But CB is so inexpensive, and so open to members that it just seems like a lot of folks end up on CB no matter what kind of licensing they get. Handy for when you're bored in traffic jams. Exactly, Luke. No doubt. Dallas, I've always used our 3 initials on the phone pad. Mine is DHR equals 347. Right on. There you go. See, there's another one there. I got a handheld CB at a garage sale for $15. That's what got me into CB radio. Right on, dude. That's a good one, Mike. Jack Taylor, when I was a kid, they told me my handle had to be given to me. Well, sometimes, yeah. So nicknames, a lot of times in the Army, your nickname is, you don't come up with a, like, hey, I'm Eric. They call me, the crazy man or whatever, I got my nickname in the Army, Mad Dog, because one night on leave, I lost my stuff at a bar, and they were like, bro, you look like a mad dog in there going crazy. And I was, put a little booze in you, young guy, and full of piss and vinegar, and let him go crazy. And it was like, so that stuck with me for the Army. And in fact, that's what I used for the radio station, Mad Dog, the old Mad Dog. So anyway, but yeah, a lot of times that was the case. But as far as CB handles, I suppose some folks probably get them given to them, but I got my own. Mine was North Star for 100 million years, and I picked that myself. So 9mm. Let's see here, Romeo Vulcan Tank Crewman here. Right on, brother. Call Me Luke got his first radio from his dad. That's awesome. Hand me down like that is good stuff. Daniel Kingsman, first CB radio was a TRC 444. Love that radio. I had one myself. That was my second radio in a car. My first one was a Pace 144 23 channel radio that I bought used. First brand new radio. My girlfriend got it for me at the time, and although she was shaking her head because she just didn't get it, was that 444, that beautiful chrome radio. Man, I love that thing. My CB number was on my radio number when I was a security contractor. Right on. Yeah, that was also common. You had your call signs. Dipsy do you think you should do away with ham radio license testing? Not for all license. No. Oh man. So I think they should open up some of the ham bands without licensing, yes. But I don't think they should open up all the ham bands without licensing. Is that or testing, I should say. So if you want to get people interested in it, make it easier. So okay, so if I have to go send away for a license so the government can track me yet another way, fine. Okay, don't make that database public, which is why I refuse to give out my call signs. That would be my first thing that I would do away with is the database. Secondly, yeah, I'd probably get rid of testing for the just entry level, and just give a license if you want to send away for it. Much like CB was for a long time. You didn't have to take a test, but you had to agree to the rules and send off, and they issued you a call sign. Rudy Morocco didn't get notice that you were on from YouTube. Oh, that's too bad, man. So I'm sorry to hear that. I put a post up, I think maybe 10 o'clock this morning, and put the live feed thing up at 10. But if you don't have the bell icon clicked, I think a lot of times you don't get, you just won't get that notification. I think. I don't really know how it is. Got a unit in PC33 I got for listening at home. Good one, man. Hooked up to a PC power supply. I tried to make a PC power supply into a 12-volt power supply and smoked it, man. I worked on it for hours, man. I plugged the thing in, and a lot of magic smoke escaped from that sucker. Some person, Eric, if you have a phone, the government knows where you are. No doubt, yeah. Which is why I don't normally have a phone. My wife made me get a phone, but it's there in the house on the charger 90% of its life. If I'm gonna go out of the area, out of the county, she wants me to have it on me, and in the wintertime, she wants me to take it with me to work in case there's a wreck. But most of the time, I don't like having it with me. It's just another way. It's just another distraction in our lives, Dallas saying, by the way, I'm finally not at work and a day off. Finished another 60-hour week. Holy moly! And you're up. You got, holy cow. Right on, man. Now the 10 codes are still the same as they always been, my friend Ro. Calcius, yeah, trying to get my address off the internet is like playing whack-a-mole. I think those people finder pages exist using voter registration. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So it's a real hassle if you want to get rid of that stuff. I don't really have any solution to that either, but it's sickening. How much information is available on people, and if you can't find it for free, if you want to pay some of these companies $1 or $2, you can get it. And I think a lot of companies actually do background checks that way now. If they're thinking about hiring somebody, they'll go look at that. So if you've ever done anything wrong in your life, there's certainly no hiding it in the modern era. Colin Jones, hey Eric, I have an A99 antenna. Is it worth getting the ground plane kit for? Will it help me transmit? I'm in Ontario, Canada. So I get that question quite a bit, actually. I've had an A99 for like 20 plus years. I've never had a ground plane kit for it, and I've had great results with it. So I can't say that getting one will make it better, but I can say that it's a great antenna by itself, so I'm not sure that it's worth getting one. Does that make sense? Financially worth it. Phil Daves, love your channel. Best wishes from Phil in Wales. Thank you, man. Good to see you from across the pond. Hope you're doing well over there. Hey, Heath, good to see you in here, buddy. Sorry, late to live screen. Yeah, man. Well, that's awesome to have you in here, my man. Michael Root wants to know, do I eat the goats? Yes, I do. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to get goats again because I don't know if you ever owned a goat. A lot of people say goats are kind of mean animals, and they are. They're tiresome creatures. But the reason they're tiresome is they're smart. And, call me crazy, but I have a hard time eating an intelligent animal. And it turns out a goat's a fairly intelligent animal. Like a dog. You wouldn't want to eat a dog. I mean, you could eat a dog. If I had to, I'd eat a dog. But it's something you don't want to do because you're like, this animal has feelings. This animal has an intelligence. You look at a chicken or a rabbit, and you don't see that. Like I interact with my critters, the goats, or the turkeys and the chickens and stuff like that, and the rabbits, and you don't see that real spark of intelligence. A chicken is a fairly stupid creature, honestly. So, goats, while I have raised goats, I don't think I'm going to purchase anymore. Then, I never say never, but that is why I have a problem with them now. I'm kind of weird about killing stuff. I've done too much of it in my life, and I don't like doing it all that much anymore. Ah. Just Google anything, it's there, says Roe, no doubt about it. Fuzzy68, we should bring back William Cooper, Hour of the Time. I remember listening to him live show. Yep. Shortwave, William Cooper was a great guy, and look what they did to him. Speak the truth, and soon you will find yourself in some deep doo-doo. And William Cooper found out that the government doesn't play. Great guy. If you all don't know who William Cooper is, Google him. It's an interesting story. He's well, I'm going to leave it at that. Some person, goat milk, goat cheese. Yeah, so you can raise them for goat milk and make cheese out of and stuff like that. My wife didn't particularly care for the milk. I didn't mind it. I don't care. It tasted fine to me, but she wasn't big into it. We never made cheese. Thought about making it. Never got around to it when we had the dough. 556 been running a 980 with an RM amp, great in a mobile. Yeah, buddy. I mean, that sounds like, from everyone I hear, that's like the ultimate combo. And a lot of folks have been sending me messages saying the 980s kind of from the factory are a little untuned, so it matches up beautifully with the RM without having to mess with anything because it keys down pretty lightly on it, so it doesn't overheat the thing. What's the caramel colored square block goat cheese called? It's yummy. I don't know, man. Do you have any problem with coyotes here? Yes, a lot of problems with coyotes here. So coyotes, I have had to kill a few, but they're very, very difficult to kill. Um, they're very stealthy creatures, man, but they're very destructive. They kill a lot of livestock. We've electrified our fences, but we still have issues with them from time to time where they get wily and figure out a way through or figure out a way in, and it sucks. I hate it. They kill also wild turkeys. They kill a lot of the wildlife here. So when you talk about hunting, they do some serious damage on that, and they're very prolific. Very prolific. It's a shame, but I'm not going to poison them or we'll put out leg traps, stuff like that, because it's just, I don't believe in that. It's cruel. You don't know who you're poisoning or who you're going to snag in a trap like that. So I can't do that. Even though I'm legally within my right to kill nuisance animals, if I can't shoot them, I'm not going to take them out. Kyle saying, waving in from Greensboro. Listen to Skip a lot on my base station. Do you get a CB on a specific time or mostly monitor? I'd like to hear you across the channels. Yeah, I wish there was like, oh, I'm always on at 6 o'clock. But honestly, the job that I have, the stuff that I do here, a lot of times I'm out on the farm, I'm out doing stuff. When I'm in the garage, I do try to have the radios on. I've got the RCI on scan, and I've got the Uniden usually sitting on 38 lower sideband, and they're both listening. And so if I hear the conditions start to pick up, I'll talk. Now, if I happen to be on a weekend and I'm out here in the evening, there's a local group that hangs out on a couple of channels here, and I'll talk with them. But now, unfortunately, it's not like a set time. And some people have been asking me to start a net, which I think is a great idea, but it's a matter of time, unfortunately. Worked on a farm as a kid raising pigs. When pigs are young, they're like puppies. Yeah, pig's another intelligent animal, slightly less lovable than a dog, but very smart. There's some folks back in Raleigh that had them as pets. In fact, a good friend of mine married a lady who had a pet pig. We thought it was absurd, but the dang thing slept in bed with them. So, it's a strange world. Heath Whittle wants to know, can we listen to your radio station on the internet? If so, how do we do it? Currently, the radio station is down. It will come back online here. I am transferring all the Shoutcast information and all that stuff over to a new laptop. And as soon as everything is worked out, I'll get the Shoutcast feedback on. I'm actually thinking about upping the bandwidth here at the house so I can have more people on the stream at the same time. And I'll make a video on that. But yeah, I will definitely make that public when everything goes right. 9mm AR, man, that's it. Keep talking about it during these live streams. I'm ordering my RM tonight and going with McKinley. So go to Newegg.com. They have 2 RM Italy amps for $129. So definitely something you want to check out. It's an amazing deal. Newegg.com, I think it is, or Newegg something. Yeah. RM Italy 203Ps. They have a 2-pack, so it's cheaper to get them there than anywhere else. And who knows, you'll have a second one. You can slap in something else, man. Yeah, so some person's talking about getting dogs. Yeah, so we had a dog, and poor little bugger finally died of old age, but we want to get another dog. My wife wants to get a Pyrenees, Great Pyrenees, monstrous dog, very dangerous dog. it can kill a full-grown mountain lion. I mean, these things are just dangerous dogs, and but that requires a lot of training when they're young. And I guess I have the time for it with the world apocalypse, but that's something we're considering actually, because it would certainly take care of that problem. Although we have heard stories up here of lesser dogs being ambushed, being drawn out and ambushed by coyotes. So I don't think a Pyrenees would take that bait, or it would probably take that bait but turn it around on them. So that's it. A 9mm Airman says, want to come down for a visit a few weeks and cut down the coyote population. 9mm Airman, that is actually an offer that I would take up. We had a guy come out here that I worked with. He just loves blowing away animals, I guess. So I told him, help yourself. So he came up and spent a day in a deer stand, and I think he got 3 of those buggers in a single day. This is daytime. I mean, straight up daytime. These things are brave. So it's not that bad yet right now, but if they come back around this summer, I'm not kidding, man. You might want to come out and hunt. I've got some beautiful land to hunt on. Calcius says a book called Coyote America by Dan Flores is really good. He said that coyotes howl as a sort of check-in, and if the coyote is missing, they spread out, and it triggers females to have larger litters. Yeah, and I've read some stuff about that where it's like, coyotes, displacing a coyote leads to more coyotes, and it's the same thing. Like if you want to get rid of raccoons out here, you better be careful, because you fill a void of raccoons where you had raccoons, you get rid of them all, the coyotes will move into that area as well. So there's a balance to nature that we are not 100% privy to, and so I understand that coyotes have a place in the food chain. It's just when they make my food part of their food chain, it really hurts my feelings and my wallet. Jamaican Dog says, if you ever get a chance to meet you, I'll give you a 25-06 rifle to take care of those coyotes. Sounds like a plan, my man. Jamaican Dog, I might get down to the beach sometime if this thing ever blows over. I'd love to meet you and hang out with you, or smoke a cigar together, brother. Hey, got to work on the Creedmoor. There you go. CJ, are you missing any of the ham fests in your area? I know that I am. Yeah, dude. So this weekend coming up, I don't know if you've seen my videos, but not a ham fest, but the largest flea market in the entire East Coast in Hillsville, Virginia, is this coming weekend, or would have been, and it's canceled. And in September is the ham fest that I went to last fall. What's the name of that one? Not Hickory, but Shelby. And I hope that they hold that, because that thing was so awesome. So yeah, man, I'm really starting to have some, cabin fever when it comes to that stuff. And I've had to buy some radios and some equipment and stuff online just to continue making videos here, which I usually don't buy stuff online. I usually sell stuff online. I like to find my stuff at Goodwills and all that, and yard sales, but they're gone. There's none. So it's such a bummer. Rose said he had a Pyrenees. Okay, cool, man. A giant one. Yeah, they're big dog, man. No doubt about it. Some person said, in fact, a good friend of mine is married to a lady with a pet pig. Uh-oh. Well, maybe it's the same person. Who knows, man? Is it Scotty? This guy I work with, Scotty, got married to a nice lady. Nice lady. Had a pig, though. Slept in bed with him. 9mm. Yeah, there you go. You guys want to get some thermals? Right on, dude. 9mm AR man saying got more during the day than at night. Yeah, sometimes they're brave, buddy. I'll see them sitting at the fence or the tree line, and I'll be like, Wallaby, and I'll go get the AR and come back, and they're gone. It's like a crow, man. They just know when you're out to get them, Jamaican Dog saying, come on down. Let me know. I'll fire up the grill. I'm not kidding, man. Same thing with Dallas. Same thing with a lot of y'all, man. If I ever get to traveling again. And speaking of traveling, I told my wife this tonight. I thought about, last summer, and I never really made any videos on it, although I filmed some stuff. I flew to Washington State, and bought that car you guys see in the background and drove that sucker across country. And I told her, I said, man, what would you think if you came home and I just left a note and said I'd hit the road for a couple of weeks? I was just so thinking about that as the weather started to change, so. Love to do it, man. I'll see. Love to come and see a bunch of you. Dallas, love to put you on that list. Mower Junkie for sure, and Heath, you've offered to hang out a few times. Wow, Joe Rogan had a podcast. Dallas is saying about Pitbull killing 9 puppies. Wow. Well, I tell you why. The coyotes, the coyotes baited him. So they usually send a female in heat down, and that attracts a dog. And if it's a lesser dog, the dog goes up to, investigate the woman, and a bunch of boys ambush it and kill it. And I mean, I've had neighbors lose dogs that way. Good dogs, not killer dogs, but pet dogs that were, of a good size. Black labs, stuff like that. Not apparently able to defend themselves against that kind of coordinated attack, which is just tragic. But glad to hear every once in a while they bite off a little more than they can chew, quite literally. Michael Root saying, is there good fishing in the mountains? Well, we have a big old lake, within an hour here, and there's rivers right near the house that a lot of people do fly fishing. I haven't ever had the time to do it, to be honest with you, since I moved up here, but I'm sure there are a lot of people down there, so there must be something. Maine Coon cats? Yeah, we had one when I was younger. Luke saying, buy a Maine Coon. They're almost as big as a dog. Yeah, I love cats. My wife and I have cats indoor and outdoor, or mostly indoor at this point in life. But we have Maine Coon back when we lived in Raleigh, and that was a sweet cat. Big, but cuddly. Call me, Luke says, don't come to Ohio. We don't have anything. Love it, man. Oh, gosh. My Pyrenees look like a bay lamb. It was when it was small, grew to 160 pounds. Holy cow! Wow, that's a big boy. Crows are smart. I walk outside empty-handed. They'll walk right up to them, take one look inside with a gun, and they're gone. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Used to hunt them when I was a kid, man. I'll pick you up at Myrtle Beach Airport if you fly. Right on, dude. Well, Myrtle Beach isn't that far. I think it's about 6 hours from here to Myrtle. I might get down there this summer. Let's see here. If you're ever in Wisconsin area, let me know. I have a spare bedroom with your name on it. Archie, sounds like a great offer. I appreciate that, man. If you ever make it to Florida, I'll get some cigars for you. Right on, man. Hand rolled. Right on. Kelsey, it's nice to hear that. CJ saying I should hop on the radio. Come on down to Anderson and we'll fire up the smoker and dip in the pool. Boy, I love a pool, man. You guys got a pool? My last house, we had. I got one of those saltwater, pools above ground. Man, my wife and I love that thing. We moved up here. We thought about getting one, but really the summer's so short up here, it's really not worth the money. As opposed to Raleigh, where pretty much from like mid-April through late October, you can swim. I used to know some Amish that used a particular breed of chicken that didn't use anything but to deter predators. Man, if you think of what name of chicken that is, I'd love to know that. Not that I'm a spare bedroom high society type. I understand completely. Heath, you ever build a dill pole for 11 meters? If so, did it work out being horizontally polarized? No, I have not. It is on my list of things to do this summer is to complete part 5 and do the home built base station antenna. But I haven't. I'm actually thinking about doing a long wire antenna for shortwave too. So probably make like just kind of an all-inclusive homemade antenna video. Josh, she wants to know how's the IMAX doing. Do you see any difference between the Antron? Minor. I think if I had to do it over again, I don't know that I would have spent the extra money, but it's nice to have. It's certainly a lot larger, and I'm sure on receive it probably helps a little, but I don't know that people have really noticed that big of a difference on transmit. So 50-50 split, I guess, CJ saying take care. Boy, yeah, I guess we were almost at the hour and a half mark, aren't we? Have a good night, my friend. I've got a saltwater pool for you. Chesapeake Bay is literally in my backyard. That's the big saltwater pool. 9mm AR man saying you got a 20 by 40 in-ground. Wow, man. People's Republic of Massachusetts. I would love to get back up to Massachusetts. I used to and I can't really talk about this, but when I was on leave a lot in the Army, we would spend time in New York City. We would spend time in Massachusetts, in Connecticut, in New York. I was in a lot of places up and around there in the early part of my Army career on leave. So I got to see the Battleship Massachusetts, and I went to Boston and visited a friend who was in college up there and got loaded. Oh boy, and got into a fight up there in the days of my youth. Calcius wants to know, do I have a favorite old Western? I love, Clint Eastwood Westerns, spaghetti Westerns are all great. I would say the Pale Rider. Is that it? Pale Rider? 1985 Clint Eastwood movie. That's probably my favorite. And then Once Upon a Time in the West is also another great old Western. Um, but as far as my favorite old time movie, I'm going to go with The Sands of Iwo Jima with the Duke. Great movie, great movie, great movie. Uh, Call Me Luke says it's been raining for 3 days straight here. A person down the road had their chicken coop washed away. Holy cow. Yeah, that's bad news. Bad flooding for sure. We're getting that up here right now. Ever thought of installing a rotor with an 11 millimeter or 11 millimeter 11 meter beam? I would love to. I actually have a rotor that I picked up like on clearance for like $5. Digital controlled rotor. So it's certainly something I could do. The problem I have, Heath, here is that I'm not sure that a directional antenna would really be all that useful for me because I'm in a fishbowl. I'm surrounded by higher mountains. So a dill pole being able to pick up, all signals from all over the place is a little bit more effective for me probably than if I were to point a rotor in most directions. I'd be hitting a mountain directly. So I'm not sure that I would get any real benefit out of that, but it certainly is something nice, man. Wife, household 6 is from Massachusetts. Right on, bro. I'm in Western Mass, so it's rural, more like New Hampshire, Vermont. I can't stand Eastern Mass. Yeah, and I had a cousin that lived up in Vermont, in Burlington, and I stayed a summer up there with them when I was a kid. Beautiful, gorgeous part of the world, man. Holy cow. They were in Burlington, Shelby, I think it was, that area up there. Gorgeous, just gorgeous, man. High Plains Drifter, awesome movie, Jack, yeah. Luke saying, how thick is the axles on the Kubota BX compared to your Craftsman GT? Oh, man, probably twice as thick, twice as thick. Like the GT, you can do a ton of gardening with a Craftsman GT. You can, and you can backblade your driveway, and you can dig out a hole if you got a scoop, and you can do everything you need to do. But you're going to do it in a lot smaller bites than you would with a Kubota BX. And the same holds true for a Kubota L Series. A Kubota BX is a toy compared to an L Series. So when people say, "Oh, it's garden tractor's not a real tractor," that's not true, man. It's just a small tractor. Then a BX is the next size up, and then you go on to there much larger stuff here. So. Crossfire Trail with Tom Selleck. I don't think I've seen that one. Call Me Luke saying he's going to head out. Is that Volkswagen a truck, gas or diesel? It is gas. Guys and gals, wow. There's our hour and a half, isn't it? So it's been great. I think people are heading out. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Look, 47 likes. That's very nice of everybody to do that. I appreciate that. Thank you again for the donations. That was also very kind if you're still in here. And it's been fun. I'll probably do another one of these. I might try to do another one of these this weekend. I don't know. We'll see how things are going. I've got probably some rough things coming tomorrow I got to deal with. And then I'll be back on the farm on Thursday. Tomorrow morning I got a great video. If you're into automotive stuff, I picked up a scan tool. I've actually picked up 2 scan tools. I'm thinking about picking up a 3rd scan tool because it's time to replace the OTC Genesis, and I've got an older Innova that I'm going to be replacing. So I'm going to be doing some scan tool reviews and some more automotive style videos. But I do have a lot of garden tractor videos and gardening videos coming up because obviously it's gardening season here. And I got one more with the Brindley. It was really some good news this week with the Brindley sweeper that I picked up last year. So that's going to be good news for everybody, or for me anyway. If you're into gardening or have critters, you might want to look at that video. That'll be on Saturday. So there you go. Have a great week checking out the shed. I'll be do that. And Minnesota Prepper. Oh man, number 50, my friend. Minnesota Prepper. We're just getting ready to head out for the night, man. But I appreciate that. Rig up a pivot joint, keep the beam angled up a couple inches instead of level, problem solved. Possibly. Definitely something, man. Yeah, it's pouring, and that's another reason why I'm backing out of here. I got a metal roof out here in the garage, and it's about to get real hard to hear me, I have a feeling. So, some person, 68%. Right on, man. 9mm Airman, if you can, please try to get a day's notice of the live stream. I'm working outside a lot more away from the computer. I missed the last one. I understand that completely. I'm going to be honest about live streams, and I talked about 2 weeks ago how I've been having some problems with my mood, being a little bit down because of all the stuff that's going on in the world right now. And sometimes that's a reason why I would not want to set something out a couple days in advance, because I've definitely been having some mood swings Luckily, this week I've been doing really well, and hopefully that'll continue. But I will try to do that. The only issue with me booking something a couple days out is it's possible that, when that day and hour comes, I just don't feel like I feel up to it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not in the mood to talk, you're not in the mood to talk. You know what I mean? So I can definitely try to do that, but y'all will have to forgive me more often if I have to cancel it at some point. So that's the trade-off there, my friend. Let's see. Container gardening isn't doing too well in Florida. I think the containers got too hot. Put some potatoes in them. Oh, that's too bad, man. Keep at it, dude. Don't give up on any of that stuff. I know that tomatoes down in Raleigh never did well because it was just too darn hot. Get tons of flowers, but they'd never really produce. Bobby Scott, hello, my friend. I gotta be getting out of here. 9mm, man. Yeah, I need a group hub, all right. But I'm thinking maybe somebody with a little bit more ample. Never mind. This too shall pass. You're right, Minnesota prepper. Group hug, everybody. It's the softer side of Farpoint Farms right here. Goodbye, farm family. Dallas, if you're still in there, the farm family saying goodnight for the night. Everybody be good, and I will see you all again tomorrow morning. There'll be a video uploaded. Please go ahead and continue to comment on those and let me know what you like and don't like. I know I was kind of absent for a week on responding, but I've been trying to respond every morning like I used to, man. So right on, brother blood. Y'all take care, and I will see you next time.